evening, guys. It is 4 o'clock on a Saturday night. I have been called by a family member to come pick them up across the state at an airport because they missed their flight. So, long story short, I am in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm going to the Detroit airport, which is around 2.5 hours from here, plus charging. I can already tell you, I am not even going to follow this particular route. Because I am going to make a pit stop for fun at an IKEA for dinner, and then I'm going to head to the airport. So in general, this trip is kind of like a day in the life sort of trip. Impromptu, no preparation, just hit the road and go. We're going to do 400 miles tonight, and that's about it. I could have taken a gas vehicle tonight. My parents did offer their vehicle, and I was like, no. I want the autopilot. I would prefer not to be driving manually till 1 or 2 in the morning tonight. So autopilot it is. So in exchange, we get charging time. So I'm spending a lot of time tonight charging, a bit more than I typically would. I'm going to charge up as much as possible before getting to the Detroit airport, because I don't want to be driving and charging super late at night after I pick them up. We won't be back here at my house in Grand Rapids until probably 1 or 2 a.m. I'm headed out really early just so I have plenty of time to kill. So let's do it. And the first step of the journey tonight is about an hour from Grand Rapids to Lansing. This is one of the new V3 chargers that they've built. About an hour to go. We arrived with 24%. That's a bit more than what the trip planner wanted to. We're getting some okay efficiency. This is the standard range, so it's supposed to get a little better than this. We did have quite a bit of preconditioning on the way here that cost 3% or so, which, you know, that would knock down our efficiency down to 280, 290, which is actually like pretty good without the preconditioning. So we're going to sit here for about 15 minutes or so and keep on going to the next one. And right off the bat, we're pulling over 160 kilowatts. It's already dropped down. I've never seen this car get above 165. I believe the max is 170. So we're at prime conditions. I guess the preconditioning did do a pretty good job. And look how fast it's already dropping off there. 146 already. Wow. We've already added 5% to the battery in about the 90 seconds that we've been plugged in here. That's pretty incredible. And just like that, we have an arrival of 6%, which is way more than I'm comfortable with. And it says 8 minutes ago, but who cares? 60%. Let's unplug. About another hour to the next supercharger, 65 miles. Let's do it. We pulled out of the supercharger and it jumped from 6% arrival to 23% arrival. Typical. I regret staying so long, but I think the preconditioning caught up with itself, and now it's pretty settled. So 23%. arrived with 18%, which is a heck of a lot better than 6. It wants me to stay here for quite a long time, and we're already pulling 170. Good grief. I thought the top was 170. That is genuinely the highest charge rate I've ever seen in this car after 59,000 miles. Good grief. All right, well, anyways. So from here, I'm going to make a pit stop at an IKEA, pick up a few things. I don't have an IKEA where I live, so it's kind of a unique opportunity. They do have chargers there, but afterwards I need to head straight to the airport. I've got maybe an hour and a half to kill total, which will include charging time before the airport. So either I'll be back here, up here in Livonia, this is the IKEA and this is the airport, or I'll find a CCS charger. I think there's one in this general area that I could visit to top off. The goal there is to get to as close to 100% as possible. So I guess we'll sit tight here for a few minutes, just so that we're not getting to IKEA with a completely empty pack. I just realized something here. The IKEA is 9 miles away, but for some reason the car thinks it's an hour drive for that 9 miles. Not the first time I've seen that on this car, but it's been a really long time since I have seen that before. With a 40% arrival to IKEA, I think we're going to unplug here and let the level 2 at the store do the rest. We made it to IKEA. It did not take an hour. But on the way here, I was driving through Plymouth, Michigan, and I drove past a huge Rivian, I don't know if it was a delivery center or service center office, but there was just a parking lot full of Rivians. And I was not expecting that. I had no clue. I don't even know where it was. It kind of blew my mind, but it's really dark outside, and the cafeteria here closes at 8. Otherwise, I would have turned around and taken a picture or something. But that was weird. Every single time. Alright, just wrapped up at IKEA. Got a bunch of household stuff. Swedish meatballs, of course. Got a cooler to take those home. And I think it's time to unplug. My next stop here is a CCS charger. I found it on PlugShare, right next to the airport, actually. So if I zoom out here, you can see where I'm at with top left. And then this is right outside the airport. So I guess I'll head here, charge to 100%, and then head back home. It's about 8:30 now, which means I'll have about another hour between now and the time I need to pick up my parents at the airport. Well, this is kind of bizarre. This charger is literally like in this trucking center something behind a closed gate. So, on to plan B. So the second charge that I went to was offline, and there's no way to tell that it's offline. The whole unit was completely shut down, so now I'm trying to rock it over to the nearest supercharger so that we can have a pretty efficient trip home, which the whole idea of an efficient return trip has kind of been destroyed for the most part. So 10 minutes from the supercharger, the actual Tesla supercharger, which puts me about 15 minutes from the airport, 15-20 minutes from the airport itself. My parents just landed, which means they'll be out the door pretty quick. So my goal of having a 100% charge at this point does not seem even remotely feasible. Goodness gracious, we made it to the nearest supercharger with 25%. Let's see how screwed we are for the evening. Well, it is a 20-minute drive back to the airport, which is not ideal. Our goal is to make one charging stop after the airport, and that is as quick as it possibly can. Oh well, it is what it is. This is kind of, day in the life of spontaneously road tripping in a Tesla. And even though the CCS chargers did not work out, I suppose if I didn't trust the reliability of the CCS chargers, which I did, I checked both of them prior to, we would be fine. If either of those two chargers were working, we also would be a-okay. I suppose you could say the CCS chargers kind of ruined my evening. I've been sitting here trying to get this app, the EV Go app, to work. The second charger was an EV Go branded installation. When I thought I had an account, apparently I don't. So I was trying to activate the charger from the app when I was there with and without an account. But then I got logged in, added a credit card, went through all the steps, found it on the map, and now it says, no chargers available. But it was last used 2 days ago. This app doesn't even seem to have a very clear indicator whether or not it's online. And even worse, if I go to report the charger, I can't even report it because it doesn't have an official name. So if I type in Dunkin' Donuts and I press search, nothing happens. I am unable to report this charger as offline. What do you do? I don't know. So here it is on the ChargePoint app. However, it says no status. There was a long freaking list of charge prices, though. So this also does not say whether or not it is online. At this point, we do have enough charge to make it to our next stop, and I'm going to be here for at least another 15 minutes yet while my parents are getting off of their plane and getting through the airport, getting through all the security there. So I guess at the end of the day, we are fine. I said earlier that, the evening may have been ruined, but it seems to me that because we have a little bit of a delay in the airport, we're going to be fine. We will be fine. Alrighty, I am headed out. I left the charger with 81%, which is enough to get us to our next short supercharging stop with a bit to spare, so I'm pretty happy with that. About 20 minutes from the airport. And it's started to rain just a bit, which is a little disappointing, but hey, what can you do? We'll make do no matter what. Troy here. So the rest of the evening was a little problematic, but not in any catastrophic way. So when we left the airport, the trip planner told us that we'd arrive at the next supercharger, or one stop back home, with 22%. But we arrived at that charger with 2%. And seeing that whittle its way down throughout the trip was a little concerning, but also what happened was it started raining, the wind picked up a little bit, so it makes sense, but at the same time it was frustrating to see that and then having to limit our speed. I wasn't going the speed I wanted to. I was going under the speed limit because I didn't know if I was going to make it or not. That was frustrating, but again, not in any catastrophic way. We charged for 15, 20 minutes, I don't know what the actual time was, and continued on our way, and it was the same exact thing. We left the charger with 15% arrival back home. I arrived with 5%. And I had to actually drop off my parents and then go to another charger before going home because I couldn't even make it home afterwards on the charge that I had. So again, the trip planner was a little inaccurate this time around. I have done so many of these trips. I'm comfortable with what the trip planner tells me, but this one was odd to say the least. Alright, yo, what a night. I am at one last charging stop after I dropped off my parents. This is just a generic CCS 50 or 60 kilowatt charger. I'm not going to stay here the entire time. I just need to get home. That's all I need to do tonight. I ended up cracking 400 miles for the evening as soon as I got home. So a couple of takeaways from this trip. Never trust a charger unless you completely verify that it's available and working before you go there. Don't bank your entire trip on a certain charger if you cannot verify whether or not it's online. Plain and simple. Second, always pay attention to your trip planner in changing weather. Things change pretty quick. Wind picks up, it starts to rain, all the above. Your car can't always predict all of that, so pay attention and always have a bit of buffer to play with. If I didn't have a 20% buffer going from the airport to that first charger on the way home, I would have been screwed. Straight, totally honest, I completely would have been screwed. And I went back to look at some stats, and it turns out that my efficiency on that last leg was actually pretty good, granted the weather, but for some reason the trip planner still could not accurately estimate that last 60 miles or so, which is still kind of bizarre to me. Trip planner has always been tack sharp, super on point for most of the trips that I do. This one seems to be an outlier of sorts. Well, hey guys, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching to the end of this video. If you like this video, if you like this kind of content, this road trip stuff, let me know in the comments. Stick around, stay subscribed, all of the above. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one.